Hello, everybody. Jake, your resident content cowboy here. Yee-haw. And I've been playing a ton of Dragonite all night. And the question I asked to you that you asked to me that I will now attempt to answer is, should you buy Dragonite? Should you buy Dragonite? Dragonite costs 10,000 coins or 575 AOS gems. I honestly don't remember the gem rate for this Pokemon, but it's expensive. It's the most expensive tier of Pokemon that you can buy. It is a novice difficulty all-rounder. It is the only ranged all-rounder. However, it kind of feels similar to Charizard in that its range is not crazy huge like Pikachu or something like that, but it definitely performs more like a ranged character on one particular build. So there are a few things to sort of start parsing out here with Dragonite, and I'm just going to kind of give you a lot of my overall initial thoughts and then a verdict as to whether or not I think you should buy Dragonite. Just so you know, going back through some of my videos talking about which Pokemon you should buy, I always like to put the caveat up front that your mileage is going to vary for all of these. So some Pokemon are going to be better than others for you. When I played Decidueye, I was a little underwhelmed. When I played Mamoswine, I thought, oh, it's good, but, you know, not amazing. And it did get a buff, and now Mamoswine's a lot better. When I played Sylveon, I knew right away, first of all, I loved its playstyle, and second, that it was crazy freaking good. Zarina was free, but Zarina is incredibly good as well. So that's just kind of my thought process as we go back through a few. Oh, and then Blastoise before that. You could tell right away Blastoise was nuts. I think some people might even say it was cracked. So let's talk Dragonite, and you're going to see some footage while I'm talking about this just from some gameplay of Dragonite from my stream. I really like part of Dragonite, and part of Dragonite I don't love. So Dragonite sort of has two distinct builds, it feels like. There's a ranged build and there's more of a melee build. So the ranged build, you feel a little bit like an AD carry, and you use Hyper Beam to just deal out tons of damage. It feels like both builds probably use the same move, Dragon Dance. That might not be the case, but it kind of feels like that's how it works. So Dragon Dance increases move speed, attack speed, and it also increases the power of your Hyper Beam. All of the moves and names and things like that are kind of bugged inside the game right now, so I can't tell you exactly what the game would say it does. But your Dragon Dance could stack multiple times and make your Hyper Beam really, really strong. That build, you feel like you play at range, you stack up your Hyper Beam, and you just do tons of damage with these massive waves of beam. Probably there was probably a better way to say that. But massive waves of beam is the kind of damage you're doing with that build. That build feels more like an AD carry. And then when you have the Outrage build, and that build feels a lot more like a bruiser. You kind of feel like a little bit like a Garchomp, Machamp sort of Pokemon, like in there doing a ton of damage. A little bit like a Zarina also, slamming down on the ground and then just smacking them all melee. So you turn your character from a ranged character with that, you know, area of effect that you can attack people into straight up melee, and you do a lot more damage quickly. But so here's where I came out on it. I really like the Hyper Beam build, the AD carry build, the build that keeps you at range. The Outrage build, I just feel like you're kind of trying to do things that other Pokemon are more known for or maybe a little bit better at. So when you're playing that build, it just feels like, why would you use this build when you could be playing as Zarina, basically? Zarina's just better at doing what Garchomp is the next one I was going to mention, at what Dragonite is doing right now. It also feels like maybe you'd rather just be playing Garchomp, because Garchomp kind of is doing the Outrage build from Dragonite as well. They're not the same. There are definitely differences, and the Unite moves are all very, very different. So it's not that that build has no function and isn't good. You can output a ton of damage with it. It just feels, I don't know, it's almost like Dragonite's trying to be another Pokemon with that build a little bit. The AD carry build feels a little more distinct. I guess you could most closely relate it to probably a Cinderace, like a Flame Dash Pyro Ball Cinderace. but it definitely feels a little different. And then, of course, with all of these, the Unite move is very unique for Dragonite. So Dragonite's Unite, as you've seen, is just this crazy amount of distance that you can do and leap to a point in the map. I thought this Unite was going to be quite overpowered, but playing with it in the game, it's really telegraphed what Dragonite's doing. Like, you see it coming a mile away. It's kind of hard to get hit by this move, and I don't think its potential for stealing is that good because it takes a long time for you to actually get where you're trying to go. There's like a charge up time where you're kind of like getting ready and then you cast off basically. So I think it's a little, I'm actually surprised that it's not more powerful. I guess maybe that's something I can get into now. So I've talked about the two distinct play styles, and one of them I really like and one of them I don't prefer. That is going to be, you know, something that varies by every player. The Pokemon itself is not overpowered, I would say. I think this is a good thing, by the way. I don't like when they release Pokemon that are crazy, crazy overpowered. But I would say Dragonite is not overpowered. It's good, maybe teetering on great, depending on how well you play it. But it has a really tough, not really tough, but it has a slow build. It takes until about level 8 when you actually become Dragonite for you to become very, very useful. Up until then, you're pretty underwhelming. Dratini and Dragonair are both pretty underwhelming. You get quite a bit better as Dragonair, but you're both pretty underwhelming. And then finally, once you become level 8 and then another power spike at level 9 when you get your Unite, that's when you really start to become good as Dragonite. So this is another one of those Pokemon that takes a while to get online and become really, really potent inside the game. If that's not something you're interested in, I would stay away from Dragonite. I understand someone who wants a Pokemon that goes, you know, hey, I evolve one time maybe at level 4, and then I don't have to worry about it through the rest of the game. I kind of get all my moves early. I think that's a really great play style, and I like Pokemon that are easier to evolve and easier to get good. That being said, once Dragonite gets good and it turns level 8 and for me has that Hyper Beam, I think it's a blast to play, and you really shred people with that. So not OP, 3-stage evolution, slow start, those are all things to think about. And I guess the question is, when you're looking at a Pokemon like this and you're deciding whether or not you should buy it, my brain always goes to, well, do you have something like it or not? And you kind of do with the 80 carry. You get Cinderace for free. It's not exactly, again, it's tankier, it's different, but it kind of reminds me a little bit of the play style of Cinderace. And then the other thought is, so if you're going the Bruiser build, then do you already have a Garchomp, Machamp, you know, Flail, Snorlax? Or have you already played some Pokemon like that? Do you like that play style? If either of those sounds enticing, then I think Dragonite is a decent pickup. It is not crazy overpowered. That's my opinion of it right now. It is not crazy overpowered. Pokemon that was just released, Zarina, feels a lot more powerful and a little more imbalanced than someone like Dragonite. Overall, I like Dragonite. It's not my favorite Pokemon. I'd say I like it better than Decidueye and probably early Mamoswine. I don't like it as much as I liked Sylveon or Zarina or Blastoise. So those are kind of my overall thoughts on should you buy Dragonite. If a lot of that sounded exciting, I would say probably pick it up. If not, maybe you could wait for something else. So let me know what you think in the comments. Did you pick up Dragonite? And if so, are you liking it? Thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. I love you very much, and I will see you next time.